Now, I want to kick you off by telling you about my second job. I'm in my second week as the ECHR's Agony aunt. That's my official photograph there from my role. I'm dishing out Strasbourg wisdom for Britain's finest. I couldn't beat them, so I decided to join them for the croissants and the cash. Here's this week's legal lunacy. My first one. Dear Darren, I'm a Zimbabwean lass, lied for 20 years, may have faked an anti-government blog to stay, can I? And I replied, you cheeky genius. Judges say Zimbabwe won't buy your sob story, but stay nonetheless. Taxpayers will absolutely love that kind of creative genius. We could do with more of it. My next one. Dear Darren, Egyptian NHS doctor here. I tweeted Hamas cheer after October 7th. I won my appeal. Can I stay? And I say, of course, my pet. This is just political speech. This has nothing to do with glorifying terror. Stay. Your patients will cope. At least you're not one of those tweeting white far-right thugs opposed to the murder of young girls. Dear Darren, I'm a Sri Lankan paedophile. I'm gay and deportation is pretty risky. Can I stay? And I say, my friend, rainbow flag saves the day. Article 3, that's your ticket. Stay. You're our very own diversity dream. I couldn't be more happy to have you here. Dear Darren, I'm Sudanese. I claim I'm 16, but I have a receding hairline and a 5 o'clock shadow like Hagrid. Judges backed me. Can I stay? I say, you sly little fox. You're a bairn in Britain now. We'll have a council-funded Xbox to your bedroom ASAP. No questions asked. And my next one. Dear Darren, I'm Iraqi. Mum won't give me my ID to prove my age, so you can't deport me. Can I stay? Well, of course you can, you silly little blighter. Article 3 says no papers, no plane. You ain't going anywhere. Stay. Mum's the word, quite literally. Dear Darren, I'm Syrian, I've got PTSD and I groped a girl, but jail might trigger me. Can I stay here and free? And I say, you are a crafty little man, Hassan. PTSD trumps the assault of women in Britain. So of course you can stay. Women simply have to lock their doors a little tighter here in Britain. Silly girls. Dear Darren, this is my last one. We're Kurdish parents. Our kids dinghied to Dover. We're in Calais. Can we join them? What a genius plan. How cheeky. Article 8's your pass. Come on in. The Home Office can't stop you. What a clever scheme, I say that is, using your own kids as a passport pawn. Forget the dangerous journey in the English Channel. Makes sense. There you have it, my friends. ECHR gold galore. Rapists, paedophiles and Hamas cheerleaders staying firmly put. Common sense? Dead. Law-abiding Brits? Out of luck. These are all genuine stories from British asylum and migration covered by the Telegraph newspaper who've done a real service to the nation.
Well, we have to laugh or else we would cry, but we are being reminded literally as we speak of the very real consequences of what happens if you leave people in a country when they're not properly vetted and when they don't share your values. We've seen, I think it was an hour ago now, yet another attack by a allegedly Islamic terrorist. I think at the moment what we're seeing is 1 dead and 2 police officers injured in France.
Yeah, police are investigating it as such.
As we speak, this is not an academic argument, and whilst we can laugh because it's so absolutely insane, the consequences across the UK and across Europe are there for everyone to see.
I mean, I think we got the ECHR because we wanted to stop countries actually acting against their own citizens. That was what it was for after the war.
In the most horrible way.
In the most horrific way imaginable. But we're not there anymore. That's not the society we're in. And it is now being abused to the point where British people are just hanging their heads in their hands. And I hate to think where they will go eventually when they just get so tired of these stories that we laughed at. But they're true stories.
Kai, you must be wanting to meet all of these people and shake their hands.
No, Darren, as you know, and as we talked about last week when you did this segment, these are minority cases, right?
Hang on, I had 7 last week, I've had 7 this week. How many is too many?
Sorry. The right wing, and the Telegraph included, by the way, will take these minority edge cases and make it seem like this represents a majority of the asylum cases and so on that we see in this country.
How do you prove it doesn't?
The chicken nuggets case from last week, right, which had you all running around like headless chickens. Yvette Cooper actually appealed herself last year. The Labour government is actually getting to grips with this crisis, and everybody agrees that it is a crisis.
Right.
And common sense people
Fine.
do agree.
I accept that point. So let me ask you a question. Will Labour ignore the ECHR if the ECHR come back and say chicken nuggets can stay?
No, we shouldn't ignore the ECHR.
So how,
there are
what can
ways.
we do, Renee?
Look, in Germany and France, for instance, they haven't
ignore
tied
the
themselves
ECHR.
up in knots. No, they haven't tied themselves up in knots with these ridiculous judgments around things like chicken nuggets. They wouldn't have gotten away with that.
Well, Kai raises a good point, Luca. Luca is from half Italian.
We can reform the ECHR.
And Luca, in Italy, they ignore the ECHR far more than we do in this country. Are we just a soft-touch bunch of losers?
That's one way of putting it. I know France does it often, and they accept the fine, and they just pay the fine because they believe that's in their national interest to do so. The issue we have in this country, in most of the cases that you read out, would have been domestic cases. These were British judges, ultimately, who made these judgments for the most part, and they were using the Human Rights Act of 1998.
Which, of course, is actually...
Which is domestic legislation.
Yeah,
which Tony Blair embedded in our
right.
constitution.
So often, once you hear these most ridiculous cases of obviously dangerous people who obviously shouldn't be here anymore for the most spurious of reasons about chicken nuggets or whatever, yes, it comes back to Article 3, Article 8 from the ECHR, but the only reason that this country in particular seems to have so many of these cases is because of our own judiciary and our own domestic laws. So that's where we need to start.
Kai, would you accept that?
I accept that there needs to be reform and that there needs to be change.
The party, the political... Is this you coming out for
Anybody can see
Farage?
that. Look, this chicken nuggets case and all the cases that Darren keeps talking about are clearly
I would like to put on
ridiculous to
record.
so many sensible Britons.
I would like to put on record that Kai has just come out and said we need to vote reform.
This is the classic leftist. This is the classic leftist debating tactic. When they recognise something is ridiculous or wrong, they seek to minimise it. Kai, pedophiles are being kept in this country because activist judges think that international human rights law is more important than the children of the United Kingdom. Stop minimising it, mate. This is a serious threat to the United Kingdom.
Hang on.
You know that I don't agree with that.
All right, well, I want to actually give a case because yesterday there was a guy who was jailed up in Liverpool, in a court in Liverpool, and the judge said, we leave it up to the Home Office whether or not they deport you, that's what they decide. And this guy had been here illegally for over a decade. So, Kai, that you reducing this to a nothingness is doing a great disservice to the woman that this man raped.
Yeah. I'm not reducing it to a nothingness. And what I was about to say before Will interrupted me is that obviously the Labour Party and a great number of sensible Britons agree that this needs to be changed.
Okay.
But it's not an easy issue. It's not like chucking the ECHR out, chucking the baby out with the bathwater. That's not the answer to this.